everyone, Janie here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a mini Slimline Trifold diamond card. And if you are not familiar with mini Slimline cards, they fit perfectly in a regular size envelope. So not a business size envelope, but a regular size mailing envelope. And so I'll show you right now. They just fit right in, and there you go. Now, before I get started, I wanted to tell you a little bit about this card. So I had watched a video here on YouTube by Iced Images, and she showed a square card, not a mini Slimline, and there were no instructions whatsoever on how to make it. So I thought, well, I need to figure out how to make this card, and I was going to make a square one like hers. And then I said, you know what? If I'm going to have to figure this out on my own, why don't I come up with something different? And that is why I made mine a mini Slimline, and I came up with all of the measurements on my own. I don't know if anyone else has ever made this style card in a mini Slimline, but as far as I know, this was my idea. You never know. All right, so let's get started. For the base of the card, I'm using Recollections silver foil cardstock, and I've cut a 2.5 inch by 11 inch strip off down one side, and that left me with a 6 inch by 11 inch strip that I cut a 1/2 inch off because I am using that for my card base, and it needs to be 6 inches by 10.5 inches. And that strip that is 2.5 by 11 inches, I'm going to hang on to that to make the belly band. And going with the Christmas in July theme, I'm using scrapbook paper from this paper pad that I've had in my stash, and I cut 2 pieces from the same paper that are 3 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, and a third coordinating piece that's the same size. And then I'll be using 6 pieces of the foil cardstock that I cut at 2 1/4 inch squares, and 6 squares that are 2 inch squares. Or if you're like me, I'm using my stitch dies, and I didn't have a 2 inch square, but I had 1 3/4 inches, and that's what I used. Okay, now let's get started. So I'm taking that piece of silver cardstock that is 10.5 inches by 6 inches, and yeah, that's my camera reflecting right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to score it at 3.5 inches. And then I could score it at 7, but I prefer to just turn it around and score it at 3.5 inches, like so. And next, we're going to be doing some cutting. So what we need to do is cut from this score line to the corner, and you can do that by lining up a ruler with the corner and that score line, and either use your thumbnail or a pencil or something and make a mark so that you know where to cut. And you can do that on both sides. So both times we're going from this score line down to the corner, from this score line down to the corner. But I'm going to be using my paper trimmer. So let me bring that in. The other way is in case you don't have a paper trimmer or that you don't have this kind of paper trimmer. And so I'm going to be cutting from that score line down to that corner. And so I just get everything lined up, and there we go. So that is one side. And now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to score from that score line right there down to that corner. And so I'm just getting it all lined up with the little space there that the blade's going to go in. That's how I know where it's cutting. And have that cut. And now this is what it looks like. And let me put this away and I'll be right back. So now I'm going to fold on those score lines, just like so. And I'm doing that on both sides. There we go. Royal cardstock can be a little thick. So there we go. So it folds just like that. And you're going, ooh, but look at this side. Guess what? Those pieces you just cut off are going to fit perfectly on those spaces. Okay? And so once you get that all glued on, you now have your back layer, so that when you layer your paper over it, you will have a beautiful silver layer around it. So let me grab my glue and I will glue those pieces on. Okay, I'm going to be using my Beacon 3-in-1 glue. And I'm going to open it up this way because I don't want to accidentally get it on the other side. So I'm just going to put my glue right along there where that score line is, right along the edges, like so, and a little down the center. And then I'm going to grab the piece that's going to go there, which is this one right here, and line that up like so. Okay. And, you know, I use my beacon to make sure I can wiggle it around, which is what I'm doing right here, because I want it to match up perfectly. Okay, and now, again, the same thing on this side. So basically, the pieces that you just cut off from there are not going to waste because they're going to be going right here. And what an easy way to create the matte background. You didn't have to do any special, you know, measuring and cutting to get these pieces because they are the exact pieces needed from cutting them from the other side. So let me get those all lined up. And sorry, I keep getting glue on my fingers here. Okay, so those pieces are done. And those are done. And actually, when you do this, check both sides to make sure, make sure everything lines up. And there we go. Because you don't want the other side showing. And if it does, use your scissors and trim it. Okay? So, there we go. Now, I have a smudge there. Now we're going to cut the pieces that are going to go over this. Okay, so now we're going to take those two pieces that we cut that are 3 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, and we're going to cut one at an angle like that. And we're going to cut the other one the opposite direction. So, you can use a ruler. So, you turn it over. It doesn't matter as long as they're just cut the opposite way. So we're going to take one and, hold on a second here. Just want to make sure that I have them, because it really doesn't matter which direction they're going at all. Okay, so anyways, make sure of that though. If you have something that's directional, make sure. Okay, so just go like this, line it up corner to corner. You can use a pencil. I couldn't find a pencil, so I'm using a pen and drawing a line just like that. And on this one, I'm going to go the opposite direction, but again, corner to corner. Now, you don't have to, let me move that a little bit. You don't have to draw a line. You can do what I just did with my, my paper trimmer. And I just screwed that line out, so it doesn't matter. But let me grab my paper trimmer. So you can either draw that line and cut it with your scissors, or you can line it up on here from corner to corner, like so. And get that all lined up nicely. And cut it like that. Okay. And The same thing with this one, and even though I messed this one up, I can still see where my corners are and get it all lined up like so. And cut those pieces, and those are ready to go. Okay, so the next step is we're going to take the pieces that we just cut, and they are going to be glued right on these other angles. So we have 2 of them on the front. Okay, let me pick that up there. So these 2 are going to go on the front, and the other 2 are going to go on the inside. And I am going to go glue those on off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now we've got that part done, and the other piece that we cut, that is also the same size, so it's 3 1/4 by 5 3/4. That is going to get glued right there in the center. And again, I'm going to do that off camera. Actually, I think I'll just go ahead and do it right now while I'm talking to you, because I was going to let you know that if you're making more than one card, you can always mix and match, okay? So like how I have these same panels on the inside and the outside, if you are doing more than one card, then you can mix and match from the other card, so that maybe the inside and the outside don't have the same papers. So let me get that in there. Get that all lined up nicely. Okay, and that's what it looks like so far. Okay, so now it's time to glue these 2 layers together. And as you can see, I have a pretty wide border here. And the reason is because I used my stitched cutting dies, and the next size down was not quite as big as I wanted it to be. So let me show you that this one here is 2 1/4 inches for this one. And that is the correct size. You need this piece to be 2 1/4 inches square. But this next layer could have been 2 inches square, but it is only 1 3/4 because that's what size my die was. So you can actually cut it to 2 inches square, and you won't have as big as a border as I'm gonna have on mine. But I am just gonna glue all of these on there, and of course I'm not gonna make you watch me glue all of them, so I'm just going to glue one for those of you that need a visual to know for sure, you know, what I'm doing. So I'm just going to glue this right here to the center, like so. And I'm going to do the same with all of those. Okay, so now it's time to start adhering these to the card. And even though there is no embellishments or sentiments on them yet, it's just best to get them where you want them to make sure you have the right angles on things. So I'm going to start off by putting this one right here in the center. And you could always use foam adhesive tape if you wanted to pop things up. But there are so many layers to this that I have just chose not to. So let me see about where I want this. Doing my best here to get it centered. Let me close this up here just to get an idea. I want to make sure it's like a good height. Okay, so hold on 1 second here, because that's how it's going together, and I think that is right where I want it. Okay, but you can adjust it if you want it lower or higher. You know, you might want it more centered. So in other words, this would be down a little bit further on the front, and that could be down a little bit. And maybe I will. Maybe I'll just slide it down just a tiny bit, but not a lot. Okay, and there we go. I think that is actually good. Okay, so next I'm going to be gluing this on, but I obviously only want it on part of it. So what I'm going to do is, give me 1 second here. I decided to do this just a little bit smarter, okay? So I am going to lay that on top of there because it's going to go on the inside. Take my pen, draw a line right across there so that I know where to put my glue. And we're going to do it from the inside out. So get my glue on here. And I love this. I had it laying there just the way I wanted it and almost forgot how I had it laying there. Okay, so it's covering that piece. And there we go. Now I got it on there so that when I put the next piece on, it's going to go right over the top of that. And it won't matter if I get glue in the wrong spot. So I'm just going to put some glue on here, like so. Like I said, it's not going to matter if I get it in the wrong spot because I have this one right underneath it. So I'm going to just lay that right on top. Make sure that everything is lined up so that each one of these hides the other one. Okay? Making sure it's lined up good. Okay, I'm going to open that back up. So, see? Really nice. We're going to do the same thing on this side. So, again, I'm going to face this one down, like so. Bring that over. Draw my little line right there so that I know, whoops, my pen did not work. I knew it was running out of ink. Let's try that one more time. Okay. Okay, there. Push, yeah, there we go. Push a little bit harder on that. Okay, and that way I know where to put my glue. So get my glue on there, like so. Lay this back down right on top of that. Get it lined up good. Fold that over. And doesn't matter that the ink is there because, of course, this next one is going to go right over the top of that. So, kind of getting an idea right up there for the glue. Bring it right across like that. And again, it doesn't matter if it's exact because did I just put the glue on the wrong way? Hold on. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing here. Well, hopefully I got it on right. Okay. There we go. Now that one's covering up that one, and that one's covering up that one. So it goes like that, and like that. Okay? You'll see what this one's for here in a little bit, but I just wanted to get this part done because now this is where you could add embellishments or sentiments to any of these that you want. You can also put a piece down here to put a sentiment if you didn't want to put one here, if you had a bigger sentiment that wasn't going to fit and you wanted to put it down here. But this is the time to do all of that. Now I'm going to do all of mine off camera because my tutorials are about how to make the card and not how to decorate it. But I will show you what this piece is for here in just a minute. Next, I'm using the Coca Rosa Reindeer Border Cutting Dies from In Love Arts, and I'm going to show you how these work together while I'm making the belly band. Okay, so now I'm going to be doing the belly band for this card, and I'm using that leftover piece of foil cardstock, and I've cut that down to 10 3/8 inches because that's the size needed for this card. And I'm going to be using the reindeer border cutting dies from In Love Arts. And I am not going to be using my Cuttlebug. I am going to be using my Sizzix Big Shot Switch Plus. But I just kind of wanted to show you that if you don't have something that can hold, you know, a piece of cardstock this long, I want to show you how to do it with, you know, Cuttlebug or something that has a smaller cutting mat. So I'm not actually going to be cutting this. I'm just going to be showing you briefly. So you would take one end and you would put it on just like this and kind of measure it up, okay? And then you would run it through your machine, okay? Then you're going to take it out and you're going to move this and put your other one in and make sure that you're lining them up in the same spot, okay? And then you're going to take that and you're going to run it through again. Now, I will show you what to do from there after I do it in my other machine. But one thing I do want to point out is, you know, the padded envelope trick, excuse me, for intricate dies. I had no problems whatsoever cutting these out except for the antlers, the little itsy bitsy tiny antlers. And so I'm going to be using this trick just over that, you know, to help give it a little extra pressure. So let me get things set up with my Sizzix Big Shot Switch Plus, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have my dies lined up on there as close to even as I could get them, and hopefully nothing moves when I put this on here because I don't have any tape to tape everything in place, you know, like washi tape or something like that. So let me get this going here. And my favorite reverse button. And it actually looked like something did move. Okay, so I'm going to put it through one more time, and this time I'm going to put the padded envelopes that I cut off over the ends that have the antlers. Look at this sticking, it's like static electricity. Okay, yeah, I didn't even check to see if it cut all the way through, but I just know that I've had a problem with those little intricate parts before. So let's put this back through again. And hopefully the antlers cut. We'll see here in a minute. Everything else cuts absolutely beautifully, I will tell you that. I mean, absolutely beautifully. And it looks like the antlers did cut. Okay, so this is what we have so far. And as you can see, they don't meet in the middle. There's an empty space there. And also, I forgot to point this out before, but I'll do it now. The way that these dies are, okay, get up there close, this end does not cut, which means you can use these two to make something as small or as large, as long as you want, because it's not going to cut in the middle part. Now, you may think that's a problem right now, because then how are we doing this? Well, as you can see, it folded real easy right along that same line, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so now I have a line where to cut, and let me grab my scissors here. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut right along that fold line, which will take me to the other side. And if you have a little bit that you didn't cut right, go back in and cut it. Okay, same thing on this side. I'm just cutting right along where I folded. And this is what we have. Well, that was upside down. This is what we have, and I'll be right back and show you what we're doing with this. Okay, so this cut beautifully, and I love it. Isn't that just so pretty? Okay, so you'll notice that there is a slit at the bottom of this one, and there is a slit at the top of that one. And that is because they wrap around and slide into each other, creating, let me get it together there. Try to get my hand back there so you can see it. But it creates this perfect little loop for a belly band. And, hold on one second, I told you that I would show you what this was for. This is actually optional. So, if you wanted to, hold on one second here, adhere those to the front of that, making it part of the belly band and maybe making it easier to lift off and on, you can do that. And also, sorry about that, I had to grab this. You know, if you had something on here, whether it be words or an image, and it wouldn't, you know, the deer would kind of get in the way of it, that would be another reason, because that diamond shape would, you know, lift off and reveal the other one. So that is how to make the belly band, and that is what that little diamond is for. Now, personally, I believe I'm going to use the diamond. But before I do, let me show you that this fits, and I'm being very careful with it because it is a snug fit. And if you wanted to make it a little bit bigger, I personally didn't want to, but instead of going with 10 3/8, you wanted to go with 10 1/2, that would also work. So I'm being very careful here because I probably should have gone to 10 1/2 inches. But let me just slide it up so that you can see what it looks like. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. I think it's just like the perfect belly band. But like I said, I'm going to be adhering mine to this other diamond, and I'll show you that when I'm done. Okay, while I'm at it, I'd like to show you a couple of other belly band options. So another one would be to cut a piece, and this one here was just about 7 1/2 inches, maybe just over, that would fit around, and then the piece that I already glued in there, that little diamond, instead you could glue it to this. And so you could just have, you know, a solid belly band going around. And option number 3, well, actually probably option number 4 by now, because there was that, there's that with the diamond attached. And now you can also take this piece and glue it to the inside, which is what I'm going to do, and then it will look like that. And that's the choice that I'm going to go for. And it would be easier to glue that in ahead of time, before you put everything together. But I wasn't thinking that far in advance because I was trying to show you all of the options. So I'm just going to put some glue right across here and back there. And I'm just going to slide this in. So I guess I'm going to show you that it is possible to do something that tricky. Okay, there we go. Now I have that piece all glued in. And I should probably wait for it to dry before I do this next step, so I think I will. I was just going to show you how to put it on, but I will be back when that's dry. Okay, so there's the card folded, and I'm just going to slide this in like so. And I did make it pretty snug, but there we go. Ooh, could have got that a little straighter. Okay, and there you go. I really love this a lot, and it makes a great belly band. And so the only thing left for me to do is decorate my card and add a sentiment. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have no idea what I was thinking, but I did not show you the most important thing about making this a belly band, which is what I originally planned on doing and skipped right over. So, you don't have to slide this off and on your card because it had those slits. And so you can just put it on your card and then take it off like that. And let me show you. It's, not going to look right on this card now, especially since I've decorated it and it's the wrong color. But basically you just lay it on your card and, sorry, hold on a second here. You lay it on your card and you slide those two pieces together like so. And I'm getting caught up there, so hold on. So you just slide it right on and hook it together and you take it off the same way. No need to slide it off and on. Also, as you know, I added a piece on the back. So hold on one second here. So I added that red paper back there. And I already had mine put together when I did that. So what I'm going to do right now is show you how you can do that. So you're going to want to put it on this side of the slit so that that slit is not covered up. And it's the same thing. You want it to be long enough to go to where that slit is so it's not covered up. And so all you have to do is measure, which is what I did. And then I'm just going to go through and add a little glue throughout here, like so. And put this on. Get everything lined up, making sure that it's not going over either one of the slits. Okay. And now, that's what this one looks like, which has nothing to do with Christmas. It was just scraps that I had laying around. But now, let me grab my card and bring it over. And just like before, you'll find when you make your card, you're going to find out where you're going to want to, kind of make it bend a little bit. Not your card, but the belly band. And then you will still be able to slide them together like so and undo it. So, and I didn't wait for the glue to dry on that. But I just wanted you to see that you can add the, a piece of cardstock behind it to make it sturdier or to add some color through there, and that you do not have to slide it off and on your card. Okay, now we have my finished card, and I just decorated it fairly simply because I still don't have access to a lot of my craft supplies, so I'm using what I have. But here is the Slimline Trifold diamond card, and it opens like this. And you can always put sentiments and or things instead of decorations, but this is how I did mine, and put the sentiment right down there. And I really love how it turned out. Also, while I was doing some die cutting here, I came across this tiny little Christmas tree die that I had and decided that I want to stick it right there on the front. And so I'm just going to do that right now. And I hope that you like this card fold, because it's truly not about the decorating. It is just to show you how to do the card fold, and then you get to decorate it how you want to. There we go. What do you think? I think that little tree was the perfect addition to my belly band. And so now my belly band is glued on there, so I can't open and close it, and just take it off like that. So for me, mine has to slide on, and there we go. And I like it because that diamond is covering up the one underneath, so when this slides off, then you get to see it like that. So I would love to know what you all think below in the comments, not just of this fold, but how many of you were already thinking, why is she sliding that off when she just has to take them apart like that? Seriously, I'm sure so many of you were thinking, what in the world is she doing? So be sure to leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts on all of this. Well, other than my minor blooper on using the belly band, I hope that you found this tutorial easy to follow. And if you would like to see the card that Iced Images made, I'll have a link below to her channel. And I'll also have a link below to the reindeer border cutting die from In Love Arts that I used for the belly band, as well as a 25% off discount code to In Love Arts should you decide to shop there. Thank you all so much for stopping by, and I hope you're having a wonderful summer, and as always, happy crafting everyone. Bye-bye.